Stay off the field. Don't make any pitching changes. Game moves faster, right? What we got?
How impressed were you with the ball, though?
This is as good as we've seen him. He's pitched some good games for us, but that was pretty crisp. A lot of strike ones. Had a lot of things in his repertoire there for him. Caleb was able to use them. It's a good lineup over there. It's pretty impressive.
After what you saw of him in spring training, how proud are you of him?
Well, he's gotten. He'll be the first to tell you there's a lot of challenges ahead of us. But it's a good start to the season for him. Glad we got the ball in his hand in one of our first 5 games. So that's right, isn't it? But if you got any type of heart or feelings at all, you know how much it means to him to contribute. And it's, he did some last year, but it was very obvious early in the spring that he came in to this to, for the right reasons. It's not something to do with, but it's about, he wants to contribute to a good club, and he likes the commitment that his teammates and everybody has made to him. So nobody worked harder than him. You could tell he did it in the off season too. So he's come in here on a real, I don't want to say a mission. That's a little disrespectful. People that actually do missions came in here with a real purpose, and tonight was a good reminder why he's been a good quality major league starter for a long time.
Look, how important do you think it was for him, though, to have that kind of start? You talked a lot about how, even if you have a good spring training, once the season starts, you never know what happens. How important do you think it was for him to have that kind of start?
It doesn't mean he would have if he didn't have a good start. I thought it set up well for him. I thought about when I went home last night that, I thought tonight, if he was where we thought he was, today should give us a chance to win. And he did a little bit more than that. A lot of guys, I think he would have pitched that way regardless of the score. Some guys don't and haven't this year with that type of lead. So he pitched like it was 1-0.
Look, he's throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs past guys who are fastball hitters. Is it just a matter of discipline at this point?
Discipline?
I'm sorry, deception at this point?
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of people come up. Obviously, I'm not sitting around watching monitors, but he said he had a lot of movement tonight, a lot of late life. And sometimes it's like golf. You play the fade. You get into a groove of where you started to get it to end up where you want it to. And, split was there for him, break a ball. He doubled up on some pitches, which usually tells you that a pitcher is pretty confident when he'll throw a pitch and then come right back with it again, even if he misses. A lot of things that were challenged for him. Times to the plate. First day of spring training, it was something you could tell on the side that he wasn't going to be a part of this year. And everybody pulls for him. He's a likable young man. It's a challenge. Nobody likes to see guys go through. In a lot of years past, what he was doing last year would have been okay. Okay? I've got to keep that in mind. And he knows, we're trying to pitch at a level that allows us to play when the leaves start turning. So, really proud of him, happy for him tonight. But, while he went by him in the 6th inning, I was really thinking, kind of hoping that I was going to let him maybe get an out or two or whatever if he could, and then go get him. I was trying to keep him under 100 and see if he could get a nice response that I knew our fans would give to him, but he wouldn't give me a chance. I was kidding him. I said, you could let one guy on there. He wasn't no part of coming out of the game after the 6th inning either.
Look, a lot was made during the spring training that you had the option to basically dodge the 5th spot a lot in the first 2 months. Mm-hmm. Does this, at least for the moment, put you back in a conventional 5-man?
Well, we got an off day. Tonight, I actually didn't want to take him much past 90, let alone 100. But with the extra day, he's going to get next time out. if it's going to be 5 or 6 or 7 starters are going to have to contribute for us to get where we want to get. And in order to, it's like we got to give them the ball. They got to go out there and pitch. To show us what it's why Zach pitched tonight and why Darren's going to pitch tomorrow and why Tommy was going to pitch tonight. Regardless, we got to keep them in a certain consistent pattern. So, I think skipping around and doing a lot of that stuff, I've seen it done, and I just know through the years that it's not good for pitchers to do it that way. We all spend a lot of time here trying to put ourselves in their mind and their body, and I'd love to be in some of these guys' body, but just to feel what they feel. I mean, pitching's hard. It's hard. It's real hard when you're not pitching, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and the anxiety that develops through that. I want to give him as quick an opportunity as possible to get him going. Pitch tonight like I said before, it's not a 5th starter, 4th starter, 3rd starter. It's just where it fit. He pitched our first game down there. We wanted him to get the ball in his hand just as many times as he could in spring training. And tonight we got a good return.
You talked a lot about kind of taking in the moment with certain guys at certain times. How neat was it to watch Jonathan Scope tonight? Well,
I thought you were going to tell. It was kind of fun, all of them. John's got a very infectious smile and personality. He doesn't take himself too seriously, almost to a fault sometimes. He listens to the right people here, but he also listens to everybody. If you went up and talked to him about his hand position on a double play turn or something, he'd listen to you and ask you. But that's why you like him. John wants to be the best he can be, and he realizes that he's learning every day. We all know what he's capable of, and that ball makes a little different sound off his bat than a lot of people when he squares it up.
We know how special you think J.J. Hardy is, and we know how special he is, but could you comment a little bit on Cabrera's play?
Cabby, the Taz had a good night. He didn't do much. He threw I'll tell you what, his arm strength was pretty impressive. There's a lot of things this spring, he covered a lot of ground, and got some throws from some angles that other people might have trouble with. He plays with a lot of energy. I'm walking down here, and what makes you feel good, he's in there working out. Ubaldo was on the treadmill. Well, I think it was an elliptical, that thing you move back and forth. What is it, Peter? You were on it all the time.
Elliptical, yeah.
He's already, I think that's where they get the bad blood out or something. What is it, Dan? You do that a lot, right?
I just didn't think he was dancing there for a second.
But, he's worked hard. I'll tell you what, he's engaged. Sometimes you got to have a little reminder of what isn't there for you to make sure you do what it takes to get it back.
But you know that Chris is going to hit home runs, but when he opens up with one that's a classic like the 2013 where he takes it the other way.
That's a long way to hit a ball for a left-handed hitter. That's a good swing. I tell you, like I said, his last game, I thought he had a couple really good at-bats during the course of that game against a very good pitcher, and he's had good at-bats here. So hopefully that bodes well for him. I know he and Cooley have a good feel for where he is right now. Wesley's going to looks like if we can get him in and get an MRI on Monday, okay, and he'll probably head to Sarasota there unless something comes up in that MRI we weren't expecting, and hopefully we're hoping JJ when Bowie is at home might be a possibility there, so he probably wouldn't go with us if things progress like they're progressing. I was talking in the dugout tonight trying to get a feel. I'm thinking Bowie, they have a really good infield, and they'll be home about the time we hope he's ready to play some games. That'd work out good. He could work out of this locker room. So we'll save some money on hotel rooms there. Kevin Buck told me it's pretty tight in Boston and Toronto for rooms anyway. That's not the reason we're doing it. Okay, thank you.